Hi there, Cosmic Family. My name is Eliali in this incarnation. We are almost there in the full moon in Capricorn. Something that I always remind you during the lunations, first of all, is that this is going to keep manifesting the next days. It is not about the day of the full moon. It is something that was active already since a week ago and will continue to manifest in the next days, but we have the tendency to feel it before with more intensity. That's what I'm trying to say. And on the other hand, it is important to pay attention how you are feeling in the full moon. If many people could have difficulties to sleep or to feel very tired, others on the contrary with a lot of energy. So it is important to recognize how you are feeling, because you can give the energy you need. You can nurture yourself, which is very associated to the moon, in order to go through these processes in a better way. You could feel very sensitive too, very maybe chaotic many times emotionally. And this woman has a lot of aspects, so it could be very something very dynamic in a certain way. Then I wanted to remind you this, that I mentioned in several videos before about the Capricorn energy, and it is linked with the levels of self-exigency. Capricorn, it is associated to responsibility, to the structures that we do want to build, but it is important to pay attention to the levels of self-exigency, both in our purposes, in your relationships, because many times the shadow of Capricorn could be like establishing these high standards that are unattainable in many occasions, and it is like it is never enough in a certain way. So it is important to give a space to ourselves to learn through mistakes, or to give a space to ourselves to be imperfect in a certain way. So many times the control and the excessive self-exigency could be a shadow of Capricorn. And with Pluto, with the presence of Pluto, many times Pluto exposes the extremes of an energy, so we can identify and return to our center, which is something that many times could be also challenging. Then other thing that I wanted to remind you is that with the presence of Pluto, the abuses, the energetical abuses, they are very important to identify. Both the ones that could be exposed, could be presenting in the dynamics in relationships, and the ones that we could do with ourselves. And in the end, the things that we allow with other people are our responsibility to establish, the boundaries. Are the responsibility of how others are behaving. It is not ours, but it is our boundaries. So it is important to pay attention to that, because, for example, there are a lot of channels right now talking about how we can identify narcissists or psychopaths. And in the end, what truly matters is how we are dealing with our boundaries, and how we are allowing, the dynamics, or what kind of dynamics we are allowing in our lives. Because when we attend that, then everything is going to flow, and we are going to connect with the right people. I think I got to that conclusion, and really I talked about this topic in the channel too. It is not the same, dealing with a person that it is a psychopath or not. But it is important to attend our boundaries and to pay attention to that. And at last but no least, Mars is already in Gemini. And this is a new energy, because not Mars in Gemini, but the trine with Pluto in Aquarius. Mars in Gemini, Mars is this planet that, operates, the function of Mars is taking action for our desires to get to where we want, or to get what we want. So when it enters in Gemini, it acquires this this color of the mind. Gemini is a sign ruled by Mercury, so the way it advances, it moves forward, is through the mind, through the ideas, through the options. So we could have other perspectives, other ideas, but also a lot of thoughts, overcharge, mental overcharge, which is important to identify too. And the other thing that I did mention, and it is very, very important with this Mars, is to not disperse our energy in many options. It is like I'm starting this, and then this, and then this, and we don't end finishing anything. So that is important. But with the trine with Pluto, this definitely has to do with assuming our power to do something in a different way, whether in our relationships, whether in our purposes. It doesn't matter the area of life, but it is in a different way and requires a transformation, and requires for us to detach from an old version, requires for us to detach from old dynamics in all areas of life. So, well, I just wanted to leave this message today. Thank you, everyone, and see you in the next video. Ciao, ciao.